We're set to go. Roma Cup Day, off racing, great start. Even line away, Peaceful Ruler, Gangster Goddess, Country God and Final Flush all left quickly. Gangster Goddess is going to burn to the lead and Final Flush is coming across to sit outside of it soon afterwards. Country God taken hold of by Reardon, sits in behind those. Back on the rails then Peaceful Ruler, almost a length wheelie, a length and a half away then God's Cross, Hassani, Joyo, and back there last of all is Sosi God. Nearing the 900 metre mark, they come along the side. And now going to the lead. Final Flush was extended, a bit more rain. Final Flush takes over. Country God pulling very hard on the outside against young Reardon. Over on the rails, Gangster Goddess is running third. Wheelie's got up into a nice enough spot there. And behind those, next of all, is Peaceful Ruler, just tending to lose its spot after the start. Hassani, its outer. Followed further back to God's Cross, Sosi God. And Joyo drops to the back. 450 left to run towards the turn. Final Flush about to be joined by Country God. Country God goes up, gets its neck in front, about to run on Wheelie. In behind them, Gangster Goddess, Peaceful Ruler, back behind a wall of them. Hassani on the outside. Sosi God runs on. Wheelie hits the lead. 150 from home and Wheelie now races away. Peaceful Ruler gets into the clear in pursuit, but Wheelie was a bit too good for them, given a beautiful ride throughout. Wheelie beat Peaceful Ruler, Sosi God from the tail, and then God's Cross, Country God weakening. Joyo, Hassani, in behind them Gangster Goddess, and the horse that led them for the judge, Final Flush, has handed in its chips and finished back there at the tail. Wheelie is the winner. Number 9. Starts the day on the right note for Peters Investments, Michael Grantham, Clint Johnston Porter, and just fell into a beautiful spot in running where there were lead changes in the early stages of the race. 3 before they sorted themselves out and allowed Wheelie there to just park and ride and then get rolling into the home straight. A Wheelie good win. Race 1, number 9 by Trapeze Artist out of Honey Rider, and takes out the first of the day from 2 Peaceful Ruler. He just got shunted back a bit in transit in those leader exchanges. Brad Parnham and number 8 Sosi God finishing on well. Chris Parnham into third money. God's Cross was a bit better today, finishing 4th in 122.78. So the pace, the pressure was on right from the get-go. 122.78, slickly run, and a length and a half a length are the margins. So Wheelie graduating out of a maiden this afternoon, this 3-year-old, and makes it 2 from 5 and 2 minor placings as well, and has a nice presence about him, a nice stamp of a 3-year-old, home in 34.87. The runner-up, Peaceful Ruler by Universal Ruler from Tranquility, S.J. Miller, Brad Parnham, Sosi God by Playing God out of So Imposing, Sean and Jake Casey Prepare, and Chris Parnham, the rider. Race number 2, the Wittens Irrigation and Design Handicap, over 1400. Number 6, Influencing, comes out of the next at 12.24. A good start here for the Cerise White Black and Peters Investments. Bob Peters down in the yard here, and that's a nice one on the board. He's a nice stamp of a 3-year-old, this fellow.
For sure, Darren, and once again I'm joined by Bob Peters after the win of Wheelie. Bob, Darren was just touching on the fact that he looks like a nice stamp of a 3-year-old as a type, and he looks like he has a motor to match as well.
Yes, I agree. You know, before this season I thought he might be our best one coming forward for the year, but he slightly disappointed me, but now he's starting to put it together, and maybe the 1400's a good distance for him.
Could it just be the case that he's a slow maturing type and he's needed that little bit of extra time to work it all out?
No, he was a bit of a, bit of a handful, and in his races and in his work and everything, and Michael's had to spend a lot of time sorting him out, which he's done, and we've sort of worked out where he's got to be ridden and everything, and it seems to be working.
That's 4 runs for the preparation now. Where to next for a horse like him? Do you continue to stretch him out in trip?
Oh, we'll just see how he pulls up and see what there is around the corner. He's definitely not losing condition. I thought he had more condition on him today than last start. So he's a big, strong fellow, and he carries himself really well.
Well, it is Easter, so it's only natural. Congratulations on a nice start to the day.
Thank you very much.
There's Bob Peters after the win of Wheelie, taking out race number 1. Michael Grantham trains, Clint Johnson Porter in the saddle, and he gave this horse just a terrific ride from a low draw Riley. 1 out, 1 back, in behind a speed that was on in the early stages and then steadied up at a stage at around the 700 metre mark, and Clint put him into the race, ensured that he had galloping room at the right time, and from there Willie did the rest.
Exactly right, Lockie. Very well timed ride from Clint Johnson Porter here today, and I would agree with those sentiments that the anchor was dropped through the middle stages, but he was able to settle quite well, just tucked away in behind the speed, and it was a really nice win from Wheelie here today, who's starting to put it all together now very early in his career. Catching up with Clint Johnson Porter for a word after the win here in the opener. Clint, congratulations on the victory. It was a step up in class for him here today, but he handled it beautifully.
Yeah, he's just improved every run he's had. He's got a little bit better, and that's sort of what's got him here today, and his win then was quite terrific.
Bob did indicate in his interview there with Lockie that he can be a little bit of a handful at times on race day and behind the scenes. Is that the feel he's given you at times as well?
Yeah, definitely. He's not an easy horse to ride. Sort of early I got bumped into a little bit, and you don't want to give him a dig because he gets over race, and even though I didn't, he still did a little bit down the back straight, so he's still got a few things to work out, but once he puts it all together, I think he's a really nice horse. Once
he does flatten out, it looks as though he's got this lovely big stride on him. Does he give you the impression that with a bit more racing under the belt, he has the scope to stretch out over even further to a mile and potentially even beyond in time?
Yeah, look, I think a mile I probably wouldn't get too excited just yet. But look, if he manages to keep getting better every run, you never know where his ceiling is.
Just looking back to yesterday, what was the wash-up from the beaten performance of Bonjoy there in the Old Comrade Stakes?
No, super happy with the run. Just carried a bit too much weight, and we sort of walked and then sprinted real quick, and it's sort of not how she's been racing. She's more back home off the bridle and rattling over the top of them, so it didn't really suit me yesterday.
Congratulations here on the win.
Thank you.
There's Clint Johnson Porter. He takes out the opening race of 10 here at Ascot, combining with Michael Grantham and Wheelie to take out the MC Polytrack Handicap.